Hi, my name is Dustin Jolly, and this is our show called Continuing Story. Today we're going to be having my good friend Michael come on and tell us about some experiences in his life.
Look at me, man. Look.
Yeah.
All right. All right. This coronavirus thing, man, is on, dude. It's hurting folks. Like you said, I just got out of prison, and where the coronavirus is just scarring folks. And, I'm scarred for life. You didn't laugh. I'm proud of you, bro. I'm proud of you.
Yeah, I'm catching on there, dude. Your filters you got going on.
It's it's just you and me. It's just you and me, man. We've been. I'm gonna tell you what. Talking to you, I get nervous because in my life you're big. Yet you have like the ultimate humble persona of just somebody ordinary. But man, you're doing big things these days, bro. I love your music. It's real inspirational. I just want to tell everybody out there that Dusty, I call him Dusty, but Dustin, he's like the modern day Romeo, and he's putting me on the spot to tell stories. But I'm telling you what, he's a story in the making. You're a story in the making, man. There's no one else I know. There's no one else I know. That's right, bro.
Think about it.
So, I'm way out here. You got me out here in Wyoming. It's like the safest place in all of Corona.
Yeah.
We saw an old bottle of Corona with like a wilted lemon just out there, way out in the middle of nowhere, man. We're like, this is what we know Corona. When someone says Corona, we're like, yeah, man. I mean, yeah, beer. I mean,
yeah. How'd that taste?
There's like nothing going on out here as far as that. But I thought, well, since we have a chance, I mean, we can now actually walk around with like bandanas on our faces, and they ain't nobody gonna say nothing about it. So that's what I've been doing today. I just thought it'd be funny just to walk around with a bandana. No one says anything. You're walking anywhere with a bandana.
Dude, it's a perfect time to go out and rob a bank.
Say what, bro?
It's a perfect time to go out and rob the bank.
Oh my goodness, this is live, or you can't say stuff like that. Oh my god, I'm not associated with bank robbing. All right, yo. All right, donate. Y'all will donate to this show. You'll donate to these entertainment systems. Just subscribe. That's right. We want it all. No, I'm just kidding.
All right.
God bless y'all, man.
You got a story to tell.
Yeah. We don't want any money. Donate toilet paper.
Yeah.
You want? Okay. Well, so seriously, we started off at you and I. Just riding around in a beat up truck for a cabinet company in Utah. That's where you and I started off at, and that was a few years back. That was after I'd already been a fugitive, after I already wandered the entire world doing stupid things. I got kicked out of one country in Europe for stealing cars, and these are the stories that I was talking to you about as we were riding around this truck, and So you've called me as it's an honor. Thank you, God, to be your first guest. And I'm sure you have a whole bunch more after me. And but what you were getting me to talk to you during the times we were riding together and during the times that we've been traveling around was about the weird events of my life in which you said you thought were interesting. Besides being a fugitive, besides going on vision quests with the Navajos who had holed me up in the desert, just the random things, man, between war, the streets. I think a lot of things that. Say what, bro?
The music that you did over in Germany.
Okay, starting off the electronic scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when the electronic scene was actually getting started, it was like back during when Warren G was picking up in the hip hop scene. And truth be told, I really didn't know how to dance to that. And so, like, I had to stay off the dance floor while all the others were dancing on the checkered dance floor in the clubs over in Europe. And I had to stand back until they started playing like this nerdy techno that I thought was actually nerdy. But when it started to play, everybody just got off the dance floor, and that dance floor was mine, and I found a scene. I didn't know that there was an underground to it, and I didn't know that there was actually an intellectual movement to it until later. But I would find myself in the German woods called the Black Forest, listening to a nobody local female DJ named Marusha. And this was like early 1990s. And she was spinning out of a radio station, a very small radio station that hardly anybody ever even listened to, in a place called Berlin in Germany. And I could speak a little bit of German. I was working as a bartender in a German town in a Chinese restaurant. So I was also learning Chinese at the time. Huh. And I was dancing to Marusha,
that's cool,
who was spinning songs like Somewhere Over the Rainbow. And you'd think that's kind of gay, but actually at the time, the big whole rainbow thing wasn't LGBT at the time. It was a rainbow was a rainbow.
Right on.
And so it was just positive, and positivity was a big thing, and still is, I'm sure, really for both of us, especially during these times. Mm. But
and then the military.
Wait. So I'm cooking in this Chinese restaurant, serving tables, serving bars. I'm 14 years old, and I'm a bartender, and I'm learning German and Chinese. And so a conversation in this German bar would go like this: a German would walk up to the bar and he'd be like, "Ja, was läuft?" And I'd be like, "Ist gut, das ist gut," you know. He says, "So, einen Crystal Weissen, bitte." Gross Crystal Weissen. I'd be like, yeah, einen Moment, bitte. And so I'd go get this, and all of a sudden the telephone would start ringing, and the Chinese person would start saying, "Den Ma," and which means electronic talking device. And I'd have to go and answer the phone. Yeah, this is such and such Chinese restaurant. What's up? And they would be speaking some other language in that. I'm just like, man, shoot. I had to actually, that's when I started drinking, actually. I'd just pull something, and the more I drink, the better I talk Chinese and German. But so my first DUI was when I was 17. And by the time I'd already been kicked out of Germany and moved to Idaho, actually, believe it or not. God bless Idaho.
What city?
Boise. That's where the government sends kids from all over the world who don't have a place. That's weird. I know. Why would they send us there? But it was either that or juvie. And so after I busted out of the little teenage psych ward in Boise, because I didn't have any parents over here, I stole some guns, and I'm walking around Boise, as if I was walking around Europe the way I used to, and walking around with an AK-47. Wow. PPK Walter. I'm just walking around in the middle of the night, like, so what if the police try to, we'll challenge them. And I was just that wild. That was about 15, 16. And then later on, I moved into the Midwest, where I got my DUI. I toned down a little bit, started drinking coffee.
That's good.
And wait, I'm at 2%. I'm gonna run to the truck real quick. Hold up.
Well, dude, you should have charged your phone before.
I'm running. I joined the Navy and ran a whole bunch there, and then realized that the Navy, God bless them, man, the Navy, they do a lot of swimming, but dude, only certain people do a lot of fighting, and everybody in my family is a war veteran. So, and everybody, like from my sister who's been 2 times in Afghanistan, to my dad, who was in the Desert War, the Desert Storm. My mother, she was a Cold War veteran. My granddad, Korean War. My stepdad was a prisoner of war in Vietnam. Wow. I knew that as a sailor that I needed to get off the ship, and so I did, and I joined the Army. And in the Army,
what year was that?
What year was the Army?
Yeah.
2003.
Okay.
And we were trained. Now look, the difference between now. So when I didn't get any fighting experience in the Navy, we did a lot of push-ups. Sailors are tough.
Yeah.
They in the Navy, what they do is you take a room that you're in right there, and they tell you to do so many push-ups and so many sit-ups that it starts raining condensation from the ceiling from your sweat and moisture coming off your body.
Wow. Smells
Yeah, that's the
horrible
Navy.
too, I bet.
The Army's more outdoors. They have you rolling around in mud. You sleep with your rifle, and it's a lot of fun because they make war fun. They make war like a game. It's like, oh, it's raining mortars. Let's crack some jokes, and we did. But I learned something about. I thought that I'd been around the world, and I thought that I knew a lot about what it is just to survive in other countries. And it's not like the movies. It's not like we're wild Americans and we do what we want and we are here, USA. It's wow. Instead of me being the star, I'm an American soldier. Oh yeah. It's like, wow, there's some unique cultures out there.
Oh yeah.
There is some really, really. We do have a beautiful land. We do have beautiful mountains. We have the best of the best, no matter what. There is a whole nother universe out there that of colors and cultures and food. Like in Belgium, for instance, I had a friend who is from Venezuela. His mother was an actual Indian from the rainforest, and she had met someone. She became an artist because she started selling the things of her tribe internationally. And my friend, his name is Jorge Vandenbrand, and he's a musician as well, just like you, bro. I'm telling you, from what I've heard, you've got an edge on him. Okay, man, I love your music, bro. Love you too.
Appreciate
And
that,
I'll tell you what. The Belgium streets, they're like, as you're walking through these Belgium streets where his parents live, it smells like. This is gonna sound strange, all right? It smells like Belgian waffle. It smells like Belgian waffles.
Okay. So it smells like breakfast, like morning all the time.
It smells good. You're walking, literally, they sell Belgian waffles on the street, and it sounds so stereotypical, but the air is so sweet with their heavy Belgian waffle dough. I wasn't used to this type of sensory when going into Iraq. It's a total contrast from any other part of the world. I'm not gonna say it wasn't as romantic as Aladdin in the lamp, where he meets what's her name, Jasmine. Thank you, sweetheart. Jasmine. I wasn't talking to you. I was talking to my girl over here. Jasmine. It wasn't romantic like that, but the sunsets were just as spectacular as you'd think of any book that has ever been written dealing with this. The people where we were told to kill them all, just kill. The people were actually humbling, and the children they would be running around with no shoes and be kicking a soccer ball, and that would be like their only toy for the whole village.
Wow, that's humbling, dude.
Dude, and it's no wonder why soldiers would want to throw them candy, because when did they ever get candy? But by the time the M&Ms went from my hand to theirs, it had already melted, and they just got a bag of goo.
Oh, they still loved it, though, I bet.
I mean, at 140 degrees, man, it's everything melted.
All right, Michael. So you're saying?
Yes, I was saying something, but due to my brain injury that I incurred from my Iraq, that I have amnesia, and I have no idea what I was saying before, dude. I mean, am I on a show?
Oh, yeah. Well, something that you were talking about that you told me is, so you drove over there.
I did. I drove in Iraq convoy security. What I asked was when I went from the Navy to the Army, I said, "Where's everybody dying?" I said, "I want to know what job has the highest death rate?" Because like in Forrest Gump, Lieutenant Dan,
Yeah.
where like everybody, I'm like visualizing that because of everybody in my family, who's been boots on ground someplace. I said, I have to at least make a mark in my family, not to anybody else, just my family, because my sister, she's already got me beat 2 times in Afghanistan. And I said, where's everybody dying? That's where I want to be. I'm like Lieutenant Dan.
Yeah.
And they said, oh, well, it's the IEDs that are taking everybody out. And so I said, what is that? And they said, well, it's people who are on the road. And I said, okay, well, put me on the road. And that's what I did. Convoy security, securing the convoys. And at first, the bombs were scary at first, but then it became kind of a game. Okay, there's a pothole. Lately, the enemies have actually been filling up the potholes with bombs and then patching them up with asphalt on top of that. Wow. And when somebody ran over a pothole, it'd just be pieces everywhere. And on to the next mission. Yeah. And then so when we figured that out, we started traveling onto the right side of the road. But then they started stuffing dead animals with bombs. And the way we would know, well, at first it was like any animal that had that just looked bloated. We would drive away. Of course, that's every dead animal. But then they started doing it in live animals. Then they started putting you'd see a dog walking with a wire sticking out of its butt, and you'd know that's a bomb coming towards you. And so we started driving. So and they put vehicles, that blow up on the side of the road. People blow up on the side of the road. Well, so we'd start traveling, towards the median. Well, they started putting bombs there, and so finally we're just like, now if it's no matter what, we'd just, if we had to, we'd jump the median and head on traffic. And that's when things started getting a little hectic because you have just innocent people who are traveling on their way to work in the desert, and they don't all of a sudden, they don't mean to be in the way of an entire army convoy. And many times people have been shot for no reason just because they were actually just at the wrong place at the wrong time. It was kind of sad.
Yeah,
but yeah, man. So before we deployed, I want to tell you real quick. Me and another buddy of mine, his name is David. I don't want to say his last name for security reasons, but I call him David. He and I came up with this idea to take just some professional radio controlled vehicle equipment and put cameras on them and have them drive ahead of the convoy to check for IEDs. And what we thought this would be a good idea, make a little platform, a robotic arm that could check it, whatever, something that could travel the speed of the convoy. And we did some research, and we called up a group called DARPA, which is the Department of Advanced Robotics Research Agency. And let me tell you what, these guys are extraordinarily secretive. They're like the James Bond. They're like Q to James Bond, but for the Army. And later on, what happened is David and we got a visit from an engineer from this DARPA agency, and before we deployed to Iraq, he handed us a big silver briefcase, and in this silver briefcase was a prototype of our design that had military frequencies, military cameras, and we got to play with that out there in the desert. That was fun. This Dave, let me tell you what, man. This David, when we got back from Iraq, he tells me, he says, "Look, I'm gonna join the White House." He says, "You should come." I said, "No, I don't want. No, I got to be special operations. I'm Lieutenant Dan. I got to be. I made it back from war. I got to find someplace to die. And he says, "No, we don't have to wear uniforms there." I said, "Man, I need to be special operations or something." And he says, no, we got to go to the White House. And I said, "You go to the White House. I'm going to go over here and join Bomb Squad." And he disappears. Some Secret Service comes up to me later on and says, "Do you know this man?" And I said, "Who's asking?" They said, "Secret Service." I said, "Well," and they looked like Secret Service, man. They had long trench coats for real, dude. Big Brother type looking folks, man. And they were for real. And they said, well, your closest friend, then, right now, bro, there's nobody, I don't have any other bro, as, you know, my girl, she's not a bro. She's my best friend, you know, but as far as bro, I don't have a closer friend. But then before I knew you, they said your close friend has applied to become the driver for the president of the United States, and we want to know that he's the man for the job. And I said, I've seen him in action. I said he was the battalion commander's driver, and he can take the president he can drive the president through a snake hole, and if the president was ever in hell, he would drive him out. Incidentally, David, he was actually a Christian, so he could drive him out of hell, you know, with God's help. But anyways, so I was Dave, and me, I did go for special operations. I joined Bomb Squad. Bomb Squad picked me up real easy, but Bomb Squad was actually in the same recruiting command center as Special Forces. And Special Forces, when they seen me go for Bomb Squad, they put their arm around me. And they said, hey, I see you're trying out for Bomb Squad. And I'm like, yeah, that's the direction I'm going. And they said, well, no, you're going to start training with us. And I said, I'm not going to train with you guys. I said, I have to go to Bomb Squad. And they said, no, be here tomorrow, $600 with a rucksack. And that was the beginning of that. And they actually ran me through what they call the SFAS, which is it stands for Special Forces Assessment schools, where I seen full-grown men cry from the weird stuff that they do. As far as let me tell you what, this place. I'll just give you one scenario. All right, one. You take about a 50-mile radius. You take quite a big radius of mileage, and you just drop some soldiers off there at night with no night vision, nothing at all except for a compass and a topographical map, and you say, hey, I want you to find 4 chem lights, and you won't get your first coordinates until you get to this one coordinate here, and you're supposed to not be seen, not be heard, and Special Forces is looking for you. And that was just one bit of the training there at the SFAS outside of Fort Bragg. And I'm not going to name the location because I don't know who's watching this. Yeah. But should anybody from a group that hates America be watching this?
Anyways,
hope you enjoy the show.
So then later on, after that, you somehow managed to find your way into prison, which we don't need to talk about. But like,
okay, well, so
like,
yeah,
like any stories from prison?
Oh man, prison. Yes. Let me tell you about prison.
Right.
That place is rough, dog. It's rough, man. You don't want to go. Just say no. Just say no to drugs, okay? And let me see here. Don't pick up the soap. Let me see. Prisoners don't like it when you lie, so don't become a liar. Don't post up like you're somebody else. Don't act gangster when you ain't. You know. I was actually doing time down in Georgia, and as a kid, like I said, I've been in Boise. I've been to school in California. A lot of times people who have never been in the South normally make fun of folks who are Southerners. Like we used to make fun of Forrest Gump. Okay. God bless the South. Okay, wait, God bless the South. For any Southerners who are watching, I love the South. All right, the South is a great place. All right, but Northerners, because since I met while I was in jail, I'm in the South. One of the first understandings that I had that I didn't understand anything about the South was that my bunkmate, he was talking to me about how the South has not fully recovered yet after the Civil War. He just called it the war. And I said, the war? You mean the Civil War? The Civil War? And he goes, why, no. It was a war of northern aggression against the South. And I said, whoa, man, I need to shut my mouth before he figures out I've lived my life mostly primarily in the north, and in the west. And well, anyways, one day, let me tell you, I'm doing detention. This isn't like let me see. I'm at a detention center, out in the country, way out in the country, deep in the South, and I'm not fitting in with anybody, and people are talking in a weird way that I can't understand because I hadn't been around it, and they have different dialects there from just your regular Joe to strange dialects that incorporate Geechee and Gula. If you put them together, you get Gucci and Gucci Mane. And well, I'll tell you what, I go over to the basketball court. I'm like, I got some color in me. I can hang at the basketball court. I can get there, and I sit by the basketball court. They're all mugging me, I can't do the mug. I can't do the mug that they gave me, but they gave me that mug like, and I'm like, I'm gonna go hang out by the volleyball court. Yeah, so I go by the volleyball court and I sit down and I'm like, all right. And the boys, I can hear the boys talk next to me, and all of a sudden I recognize the tone of voice that they're using. Man, they're talking about Forrest Gump, because they were all talking just like this. And I said, yes, man, I love that movie, Forrest Gump. And so I look over to the dude sitting next to me and I said, Mama said these shoes would take me anywhere. And he looked at me and he looked at everybody else and he goes, I believe he's making fun of us. And I said, I always talk this way. He said, shoot, man, I became Southern right then and there. That's the South will rise again.
And well, it's kind of like war.
Anyways,
I bet kind of.
Say what?
Prison. It's kind of like war. I bet.
Bro, without joking, it is like war without any type of special R&R. There is, no matter what, there is no holiday. There's no weekend, dude. There's no Sabbath, man. It is war. You got that right, man. I met a gentleman. Oh
yeah, sorry. Go on.
Ahead. No, you got it.
We only have a couple minutes left, is what I'm getting at.
Say what, bro?
We're almost out of time.
Okay, let me tell you real quick. I met a gentleman who, as soon as he got off the plane from Vietnam, he went straight to prison. I met him after he'd done about 40 years in prison. I met him in prison. Wow. I'm telling you what, that man, he lived and walked as if he's never left war. This man was like a ninja, dude. Like, just an old man that could, if he was standing still, it's like he was invisible, man. He had learned how to be so quiet and invisible, even in plain sight. I've never met. There's a lot of people who live there. That's an interesting concept, bro. You're right. War in prison. Good job, bro. Yeah, that's a good analogy.
Yeah. Well, anyways, now you're doing pretty good. Do you want to talk about that for another minute?
Yeah. So, I was looking at doing about 40 years in prison. After I was caught up in the redwoods of California and extradited back to the South. I was caught way up in the west, the northwest, the furthest part you can get away from Georgia. I was caught and extradited back to Georgia and looking at 40 years in prison for being a fugitive and running from Georgia. And when I got back, I'm in jail and just trying to make jail my home and just trying not to stress out. Just looking forward to doing time without being like some. Just without being a punk about it, just going and accepting it. And, man, along comes this old black preacher woman. And she's telling folks who don't even really want to hear it. She's like, y'all are in jail. And we're like, yeah, we're in jail. She's like, you're all the way in jail. And like, we're all, she's like a modern day, you know, she was like a smaller form of Medea, you know, and I was like, she's like, you're all the way in jail. You ain't halfway in jail. You're all the way in jail. And we're all like, yeah, we know this. We're all the way in jail. She says, well, you got to be all the way in with Jesus if you want to be with Jesus. And I'm like, oh man, here we go. Like, I've tried this route. It don't go well. And she says, are you halfway in jail? And I'm like, no. She says, you're all the way. Well, you got to be all the way with Jesus. And she said that. And I said, okay. And she walked away, and I'm sitting up in my bunk, and I'm thinking, well, you see, I've tried the devil, and I'll tell you what, he'll hook a person up halfway. And I've tried Buddha, and that was real peaceful, but all the Zen did not get me out of jail, didn't help me out, you know, like as far as like when the bombs are dropping, I couldn't just sit in a position and just meditate, you know. And I've tried a lot of different religions, and I don't like religion at all, bro, so I'm not even going to bring it up. But I did say
we only have like 1 minute left anyways.
Real quick. I did say a prayer.
Right.
I said, God, hook me up. And he said, well, if you want those 40 years to disappear, I need 40 days. I said, 40 days? He says, yeah. I want you to do what Jesus did. I want you to fast for 40 days, don't eat anything. Bro, for 40 days and 40 nights, I didn't eat anything. And I took it to trial and pleaded not guilty. And I was released.
It's great, man.
I know it's a trip, bro, but it really happened. Anyways.
Wyoming. Free man
yeah, out in
for
the
how
middle of
long
nowhere.
now?
Say what?
Free man for how long now?
Oh, man, for a few years. Man, thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, man. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, appreciate it, bro. I'll talk to you later.
Yeah, talk to you later. Alright, and that's a wrap. Thanks for watching, guys, and make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you dig it.